All right. So, I overnight I figured out what my problem was. It's just so it came to me, which was we weren't setting the type of data being set to our server, and that's the reason why it was failing. Let me go ahead and just sort of like reintroduce what the problem is. So if we come into our task, we hit edit. I make a change. So let's like remove a bunch of these exclamation points and I hit save, we get a 500 error, but everything sort of looks right here. But something's wrong. So what we're going to do to fix this is we're going to add another header. It's going to be a content type application JSON. If we don't have that, the server doesn't know what type of data is coming in, and so therefore it doesn't know to put that data in the body. The server then doesn't know to like grab that data and then where to find it. So that's why we're getting that 500 error. So let's do a header, content type, and application JSON. Okay, so just this one should now allow us to update our tasks. So we really loaded here. Let's remove these exclamation marks. And I'm going to say save. And there we go. We now have a 200 for our patch. Okay, great. If I come back to our task and we're going to hit refresh, well, we lost the exclamation marks on the title. That's great, but our completed has been reset. We lost the description and there's no priority anymore. So what happened? Well, if we take a look at that patch again, which I don't have in the list anymore, we sent a bunch of nulls along with the rest of the data. And that's a problem because a lot of these fields are technically nullable. So that means we just deleted all that stuff. So in a patch, we only want to update what we actually have. So let's head back to here. We're sending in, so we're doing a JSON toString of the task. The task we're building, and that's actually under this patch task struct that we created. It has a bunch of these options in here. And Serde is seeing the options, seeing that it's a none, and saying, oh, okay, well, there is an equivalent in JavaScript, which is null. So let's just use that, which is not exactly what we want to do. We want to skip that if an option is a null. So the answer is not to create this big, huge, complicated thing to sort of work around that. The answer is instead to go do a little bit of research into Serde. So I've actually already looked at this a little bit. There is a field attributes sort of like thing that you can do when you're deriving serialize and deserialize. These field attributes go inside of the struct to sort of say, okay, the next field, this is something that you want to do to it. What we're looking for here is the way to do like an optional, to skip it. So for example, let's see, it's down, here it is. We want this Serde, skip serializing if, and then equals to like some path, which is like, is something that can match. Okay, so they actually give the example that we really want here, which is skip serializing if option is none. Well, that sounds exactly like what we want. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy you. And we're going to put you in here. And then for the path part, it's this option is none. Okay, I now want to take this entire thing and copy and put you on every single one of these. That way we're only going to be sending these if they have actual data in them that we want to be, well, different. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's see if we can fix some of the stuff we've done. Back to our code. it was successfully reset up. So let's go ahead and do another edit. I want my task title to remain exactly the same, but we're going to now give it a description. So this is my great description. Let's give it a priority again. Let's set you to B. And let's mark you as completed. Okay. So now if I hit save, we get our 200 patch. We take a look at the data and we got a completed, a description, and a priority. We do not have a title, which is exactly what we want. So now if we come back to our to-do, hit refresh, now that stuff is back in there. Okay, excellent. That's what we wanted to do. The sort of like the last, like there's a couple little cleanup things we can possibly do here. First of all, our date is just a static date of like the last time I streamed this, and I just set this. We kind of need to figure out how to get like the current date. And so I wonder if maybe there's something like maybe in Glue that would allow us to get like a new date, or something like some other library that would allow us to get that. Maybe I sometimes trying to use like the Rust libraries like time may or may not work because this is all going into WebAssembly. We could try that too and just sort of like see if it works. But I wouldn't be surprised if we need to use something like a glue time or glue date or something like that. So first of all, if I just do date, do you find anything? I do not. Okay, so let's try glue. So if I go glue, I see timers, but I think that's going to be things like this set timeout and set interval. That's not exactly what I want. There's utils of this list here that feels the best. So let's go into utils. I don't see any date type stuff here. So I wonder if it's going to be hidden behind a feature flag. Let's go look in crates.io. Let's go look in glue. Let's see what we have here. Under. Okay, so they're just like forwarding on everything in here. So if I search for date, can't find it. Let's go to glue utils. Date. No. No. Okay, so I don't see that here. I mean, like, I don't think window would give that to me, really. Let's see, is there anything else? Google Console, dialogues. It's not really a dialogue, so it's not really an alert that I want. It's not an event. It's not a file or history. I don't think it's net. Okay, so I don't think glue is going to give that to me. We could use WebSys. We could also just try a timer type thing. So for example, let's go to where I want to go to our documentation, standard library. So can I just serve like date? I think it would be under time. So we do standard time. I don't want a duration. I want an actual just like, let's see, not instant. There's system time, measurement of the system clock, useful for talking to external entities. Okay, so potentially something like system time. And then I want to like to string that. But that we'll see whether or not this works. So let's see. Let's take in our let time equals, what is this? This is center time, system time. So system time. system time now. That gives us a system time. Now, can I like toString this? I don't know if I can. So that gives me a system time. Now, if I want to print that out as an actual string, now I haven't like Googled like the actual appropriate way to do this at all. That's the real thing, is just do a little bit of research for that. I don't want something like that. I want like the opposite. Let's see, formats the value. Okay, so we can maybe debug that into a formatter. Like you implement that, okay? So out of curiosity, if I throw this into a format, so I guess we'll just make this a question mark, add in U and close U off. So we'll get a string here. And now we'll throw in time here just because I'm curious of what we have. Let's see if this works at all, or if we're gonna get an error. So first of all, it compiled. Okay, so that's the first step. Next things up, we're gonna come to U. We're gonna uncomplete U. Oh, that sent nothing because I am trying to undo the completed, which made it like a none. So I don't have that capability right now. This is the one that I do want to send as a null if it's like a false. So that's actually going to be interesting. We may need to, okay, we need to update that too to handle when I'm not completed. Okay. Because that's just going to error out in this. Let's head. How do I want to deal with this? Oh, I think what we can do is come into here, go into our thunderclan. I want to patch you, and I want to just say completed at is null. Don't need to set your priority. This is task 31, and I need to get the token. Here is our XAuth token. Come on, let me copy you. There you go. And you go in here. All right, so that should have updated you. So if I hit refresh, now, okay, you're not in a completed state. I want to now mark you as completed. Hit save. And immediate error. So what happened here? Oh, time is not implemented on this platform. Okay, so Wasm was able to compile it, but it's not able to use it. So that's our problem there. So we can't use that timer. Let's do a quick Google search. See what we can do to get like essentially like the date library. I think it would be like in a Wasm bindgen or something like that. But I want like we need Rust Wasm like essentially date current date time. See if okay, there's JSSys. I don't have JSSys though, do I? There's Chrono. That may not be Wasm compatible. Getting UTC and Wasm. Okay, that's Chrono. That's not, I don't think that's helpful. WebAssembly. That's like performance now. Not helpful. The other things are we are using, let's take a look at what we're using. We have our cargo.toml. So websys might have it. Wasm bindgen might have something in there. Let's take a look at websys. They usually have like they usually have like everything in there, and that might work for us. So let's head back to crates, go websys. And so I want date. So, okay, we have JSys date, and then we have get date. The get date method returns the day of the month. Okay, so I want, I think we were going to want like the 2 UTC time or like one of the two. Okay, so we can use new date to create a new date. And it takes a reference to a JS value, which I think would be now. Okay, here it is. New 0. So let's try this. We're going to create a new date using JS sys. Is this behind a feature flag? I don't see that. Okay. Back to here. It's not, no, not this one. We want in patch task. Okay. Let our I'm just gonna call this now equals, so I want date, but we know it's a JS, it's websys, oh, it's JS sys. Oh, it's okay. Wait a second. Did I click on the wrong thing? Oh, so under websys, if then I want to go to so date under websys is actually under JSys. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I need, can I get that? So websys, are you behind a feature flag? Okay, so bindings to these objects. This does not include any web node or any of your JS environment APIs. Okay. That's fine. Date doesn't, I'm not seeing anything in here. Uh, do I need to pull in JSys separately? You're not telling me if I need that. If I just go straight to date again, you're not saying that I need a feature for this. Sometimes in lib.rs, you get a little bit more information. So if we go to websys, I'll look at the features that we have over here. So here's our dependencies. Okay, so then features. I'm looking for like a JS. Like, is there a JSS or a date? It's under D. I have date time value. That's interesting. How about JSS? Okay, JSON web key is the only JS one. Okay, so that doesn't that okay, I don't see that one. Maybe I need to pull it in separately. That sort of feels a little bit different. Can I grab JS? Yeah, so it can't find JSS from this. Okay, so let's try pulling in JSS separately. Are you JSS underscore or so it says JS underscore sys here, which is create JS underscore sys. Yeah. Oh, you do not exist. Okay, so it couldn't find JS sys. Then I feel like this is behind a feature flag of some kind. Uh, or like, is it not available to me? Let's go search under crates. Well, here is just JS-sys, and maybe that's what it is. There we go. Now you're happy. Okay, so now that we have JS-sys, we're going to let REST Analyzer do its thing. Okay, so we should be able to find date. Let's try rooting through this. Oh, you can't find that at all. What? Okay, fine. Let's we're just gonna make that back to 2-owned. Just that way we can go have no errors in this file and have REST Analyzer help us as much as it can. So let's use JSS. Okay, date. Okay, so we're gonna pull in date there. So then you can do let now equals date. We could do now returns the number, but that gives us the number of milliseconds since the epoch. So that's not what we want. There was that like new 1, I think. New 0, which takes nothing. So this gives us a date that's equivalent to right now. Okay. Then I want to do a 2 UTC time on that. So now dot to ISO string. That puts it in the format of like year, DD. Okay, that might be good. I usually go for like 2 UTC string. That might work. Let's try that. And that actually gives it a string, right? Oh, it actually gives a real JS string. Okay. Interesting. So that might be, that's upset because you need to be a string and you're a JS string. Let us update you that completed that is now a JS string. I do want to skip you if you're okay. JSS. Oh, so I can't deserialize if it's a JS string. So this needs to be interesting. Okay, so I need to now turn this into a string. So if I do that, can I do a 2 string? Found. Okay, so toString is still a JS string. So that's not what I wanted here. Okay. What other options do I have? To like turn this into like an actual string that we care about. So there's as string. Oh, gives us an option string. If this JS value is a string value, the function copies the string value into the returns as a rest string. Try from. So it's possible that it's a none then in that case. We could try a try string. We could try an into. We can also try. So this is what was that? That's under. Where is JS value? I think is from WebSys, right? So JS value. Is there something that will give me a string from this? So, okay, there is just that. Consider the JS string try from JSSys instead. Oh, okay. So as string, if it's a string inside of there, which we can do the toString and then as string. Okay, so toString turns it into a JS value, and then as string turns it into a this turns it into an option string here. So we can just remove this sum. And that's what the completed app becomes. Okay, so now you're happy. Back to here. Let's now see. We are not marked as completed. I'm going to mark you. We're going to hit save. Successful. And we can see our request. That is what we send out as. Now, I believe the database can parse this because it's a date time in the database. So it should be able to handle anything that's like a legal date time. So this should work. Then we're going to head back to to-do, hit refresh, and we are completed. If we take a look at our tasks that we're getting, we should see behind the scenes that our completed has been converted over to the same format that everything else has. So that is how we're now able to basically update everything now. We have a completed, we have our priority, we have our description. You know, the last thing that we want to do here, or I guess there's two last things. I don't know if I'm gonna have time for it this morning. Is I want to move as soon as we're done with updating like this and hitting the save button. I want to move back to this page. So where is that? Let's see how far we can get. And the edit task button, here's our API update task. I want to now do a history push, which means, okay, so here's the other callback from, so we want a use history right now. Okay, so then we're going to move you into here. I don't know if I need to. Oh, we can go ahead and unwrap you here too. Let's go ahead and clone it. We may not need that. Okay, so now at this point, we're now going to do a history. Going to push. Now we need a route. So we're going to pull in. Oh, we have route right here. We want to go to a single one task. So as opposed to edit task. And we now need our task ID, which we also have right here. So that's our task ID. Unexpected token Rusty. Oh, semicolon. All right, that seemed to work. Let's go ahead and let's do this edit again. So can edit you. Let's edit you a few times. We'll put some more exclamation marks in there. We hit save. Okay, we're back to here. Now it didn't update everything inside of our state, which is understandable. We're only doing that when the application loads for the first time, and that's it. So if I hit refresh, now we see that. Okay, so that's a good sign. To get that updated, we now need to either send a GET request to our server, get the task, and update that task in Yew, or we can save a call to the backend and just have Yew.rs update that task with what we know we already passed it. We have that information here, because we have our patch task, so we know exactly what we're doing here. Okay, so if we take this patch task, we should be able to clone that. So that way, after we successfully get to this point, we now need to tell Yew.rs time to update Yew. So I would imagine that we can now go into our store and create a new reducer, essentially. So we're going to create a login function. What do we want to call this? This would be a let's just call like update one task, or update task by ID. So we'll take in the dispatch. We'll take in the task ID, which is a U32, and then we'll take in a patch task. This could be I think it might have to be a clone, because we'll just have to take ownership of it, because we need the strings and everything else anyways. So I don't really see a reason not to just clone it up there and pass in a new version of this. So take in a patch task. We won't return anything. Do a dispatch. Reducer. We'll have our store. Okay, so this is where we have to like check to see all the different things we're doing, because we only want to do stuff if it's being updated. So, well, first of all, we have to find the task. So that task. Do I want to clone all the tasks? Maybe. The tasks are in a vector inside of the store. So we can get a mutable reference to the task here. So task equals store dot, can't really do a find, but we can get a iter, store dot tasks dot iter mute. Then maybe we can do a find. We'll have a predicate. So this is going to be a single task. And I want this task.id is equal to the task ID. Okay, that's going to give us an option here. If we can't find it, that's going to be a thing. We should always be able to find it, because we've successfully updated our server at this point in time. So that this should work. Let's try right now, especially since I'm running out of time. I just want to log out what we have. Let's just do a console log. So I just want glue console, please. Okay, so we're gonna do a console log. Let's do our task. Let's take our task. We'll unwrap that, and then get like the title out. Let's say, which should be a string, and that should be loggable. Okay, couple problems here. So if you it borrows task ID, which is owned by the current function. Task ID is Yew.32. You should just be able to take that in there. Task ID is borrowed on 66. Yeah, task ID like that. You implement copy or Yew.32. You should be fine. Function requires argument type to outlib static to force a closure. Okay, we could just do a move. Okay. Oh, you're still unhappy. Can I move out of the mutable reference, which I don't want to move out of the mutable ref. Oh, it's not this move. Oh, sorry. This move right there. Now you're happy. Returns the containing some value. So title is an actual string. I don't want to move it out, so we're going to clone this into the console log. Okay, great. And then we're going to come back to edit task, and we're going to call this update task by ID. So that's right here. Update task by ID. Pass it in a dispatch, which we need to create a dispatch here. So we use a use store dot dispatch clone you. We'll move that in here. Okay, and now we'll have access to that in here. Task ID we have access to, and now the task is this patch task, which means we need to clone you here. This looks to me like it's not going to work because clone isn't on it. So let's derive that too. Clone. I suppose we could also implement copy on it. Then it'll just sort of auto copy for us. Oh, never mind. We may not implement copy for it. So we will just, we'll just clone it. Okay, no errors. Let's go and see after we do an update. So I hit here. Let's remove this again. I want to see the title with the exclamation marks should be what we see logged out. So I'm going to hit save. And hey, there we go. See my details by clicking on me. All right, so we are successfully finding the Yew.rs task in our store. So in the next video, what we're going to end up doing is updating the task in Yew.rs. So that means after we come back to here, we update the task, everything should auto update for us, and that just might be the edit feature. So I'm looking forward to that. I will see you in that next video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you then. Bye.